Vinyl community, welcome back to another installment of Fat City Vinyl. Doug coming at you again. I got a big whack of thrift finds I'll share with you. Thrift's continuing to be good to me in my area. Might be slowing down a bit now, we'll see how that goes, but I've got at least enough for one more video. Plus, I was at my first record fair of the season, so I got some vintage reggae I'll share with you guys in a minute. But first, the thrift finds. Picked up a couple of country ones. This was an upgrade copy for me. It is Merle Haggard, Fight Inside of Me. Of course, it's classic, still in shrink. Don't need to say too much about that one. Got another one by him at the same time, also still in shrink, excellent condition. I Love Dixie Blues. This is another live one, 1973 on this one. Recorded in New Orleans with a brass section and the Dixieland Express. And this finds him dabbling into kind of that Dixieland sound. There's a bit of blues, so as per the title, I Love Dixie Blues. Also a pun because he does Lovesick Blues on here. Very excellent, great crowd response here. Finds him, like I said, mixing up his style a little bit, and just a great live album. Walk Don't Run Volume 2, The Ventures. Whenever I see these things, it's like, how many Ventures records do I need? But they're kind of hard to resist when you find them in good shape. Dalton, early 60s on that one. And this one's from a couple of years later, Where the Action Is. More of a garage kind of beat feel on this one. Some cool kind of rockin' instrumentals. Nice autograph there. Found this one at thrift store, The Turtles. Happy Together again. This is a early 70s compilation on Sire, gatefold, 2-record set. Nice liner notes there. Quite an interesting compilation here. It's got the hits as expected, but it's got a couple of early demos on here. It's got a few songs that were intended for a final album that was never released. So it kind of takes a full view at of their output. Touches on their pop hits, their psychedelia, their more satirical side. So just a really good overview of the band there, which is still kind of not well understood. This is one, another thrift find again. I'd actually seen this one in a record store, so when I saw it in the thrift, I thought I'd try it out. Miss Aluba. This is an African one. I think it was originally released in the 1950s. Beautiful kind of gatefold sleeve here. This is it was a Congolese boys choir, which was encouraged to make this record by a priest who encouraged them to stay true to their African sound, their African traditions, but it's actually recording a Catholic Mass, which one side is more their folk songs, and then the other side is the Mass, but it doesn't really sound like a Catholic Mass, it just sounds like African music. Very nice. Another thrift find, Dinah Washington Sings the Blues, still in shrink. It's a Canadian issue from the mid-60s, I think. Originally came out in the 1950s. It's got Charles Mingus on bass here. So this is a very kind of jazzy blues set from her, very early set, I guess. And a few songs is from a different band with a different singer, Betty Roach. Very nice stuff there. Continuing on the jazz tip, more of a later 70s fusion one. Jean-Luc Ponty, Imaginary Voyage. First one I ever picked up from him. This is on Atlantic, 1976. Very rock fusion, lots of guitar on there. Enjoyed that one. First solo one I've ever heard by him. Disco. Lots of talk of disco in the VC lately. Giorgio Moroder, Nights in White Satin. This is 1976, kind of at the height of his work with Donna Summer on the Casablanca Oasis label. This is also on Oasis. Title track is a disco reworking of the Moody Blues song, Nights in White Satin, kind of threaded through with some disco beats. Folk find, Loudon Wainwright III, Unrequited, sad on one side, happy on the other side. And there is actually two different sides to this record. One side is studio recordings, and one side is live at the bitter end, showcasing his kind of storytelling, kind of off-kilter humor. Very nice. Another folk one, Ian and Sylvia, Love and Sound. kind of a bit of a later one, I think, by them. They would soon form a rock group called Great Speckled Bird. This is still them recording in the mainly in a folk milieu, but also incorporating some of the folk rock of the time on here. Love and Sound is quite, the title track is quite rock sounding. Nice tune. Another thrift find, this is Joy of Cooking. Early 70s on here, I believe, on that Capitol label. San Francisco, I'd heard they were kind of a jazz influenced. I didn't really get that from this record. More San Francisco Bay Area, that kind of post-hippie, post-Woodstock, back to the land kind of sound. But also the horns, rich sound of Blood, Sweat and Tears and Chicago in here as well. They had two female singers on here, which were kind of the dominant presence in the group. So they had a rep as kind of involved with the feminist movement in Berkeley at the time, which was where they were based. But very nice kind of folky country rock of that West Coast period of time and that time and place. And the title track on here, which closes off side one, Castles is the name of the album actually. Just beautiful, almost sunshine pop feeling to it, with the two female voices kind of interplaying and interchanging with each other. Just lovely song. This was a blind buy, again at the thrift store. It is 1970 on this one, I believe. Dory Prevan, On My Way to Where. This is on United Artists. Back cover. It's a singer-songwriter album. Dory Prevan, short for Dorothy, by the way, the insert it comes with, was a songwriter who married the composer Andre Prevan, and the two of them worked on soundtracks together. They'd worked on the Valley of the Dolls soundtrack in the mid-60s, for which they were nominated for an Academy Award, I believe. She had grown up as the daughter rather, of a World War I veteran who was traumatized by a gas attack and survived that. Had I guess kind of a horrific childhood. At one point, her father boarded the house up and held the family prisoner at gunpoint for months. Grew up, married Andre Prevan in the 1950s. They were a kind of a Hollywood musical power couple through the 1960s. Following the Valley of the Dolls soundtrack, Andre Prevan began an affair with the actress Mia Farrow, who would eventually bear him a child. This sent Dory into a nervous breakdown. She was institutionalized in a mental hospital where she was treated with electroshock therapy. As part of her treatment, she was encouraged to express her feelings through her songwriting. So this is kind of a confessional, therapeutic songwriting exercise on here. Musically quite light on here, in that kind of West Coast folk rock kind of style. With you got a lot of session players like Bernie Ledon from the Eagles, Joe Sample from the Crusaders on here, and Larry Knechtel, of course. Kind of that folk country rock, a bit of almost that music hall kind of vaudeville sound, but very dark lyrics. Like she's got songs that kind of obviously talk about her father. I Ain't His Child. With My Daddy in the Attic, some very dark overtones to that one. The Veterans Big Parade. She's got a couple of songs that address her mental breakdown. 20 Mile Zone and Mr. Whisper, kind of chronicling her state of mind in that time in her life. And also Beware of Young Girls, which is kind of a thinly veiled account of Mia Farrow's role in her marriage breakup. She goes, she was my friend, I thought her motives were sincere. So, very interesting album with an interesting backstory. She continued to write and record until her death in the 2000s, I believe, early 2000s. By far the most stunning thrift find I found recently, find of the year so far. It's kind of funny because I was driving, I'd been to one thrift store, was driving, I was thinking of going to this other one it's in my area, but it's in kind of an out of the way, kind of difficult place to get into. I was kind of humming and hawing whether to go there or not. then I thought, once in a while I do find unusual things there. Like I found Sly and the Family Stone. There's a riot going on there one time. So in the end I decided to go, and what did I find but this. Serge Gainsbourg and Jane Birkin. Not in perfect condition by any means. Definitely got some light scratches, Fontana, but plays through perfectly. Great late 60s. Those that know this know about this one. Kind of very sexualized late 60s pop, French pop. Very cool find. I'd never heard that one before. And into some record fair finds. I'm always looking out for vintage reggae when I hit these things. My area can be kind of hit and miss. Sometimes you find some things, other times not really. Some of these seems to be more rock oriented in my area, and once in a while these sellers and buying collections will find the odd interesting thing. So this was one. Seller had nothing else interesting reggae related, but it is a Canadian 12-inch single. I didn't know this one, but it looked interesting to me. So I picked it up, and it was a good one. It is called Party Is Over. Artist is B. Sinclair as Skin. Extended 12-inch version with a DJ or kind of Jamaican rapping section by a DJ called Collie Culture. Produced by Skin. Completely unknown artist to me. JDT label. I'm guessing from the sound of the song, kind of early 80s on this one. Great kind of early rub-a-dub dance hall vocal with DJ and dub version on the B-side. Pleased I picked that one up, actually. It's got some thumping bass on it. Another 12-inch single I got from a different seller. This is on the Oneness label. This is Jimmy Cliff's label for his Jamaican productions, both of himself and other artists. And one thing that attracted to me was the stamps from Mel Warner. I have several records in my collection from him. He's kind of a local Caribbean music radio DJ and show promoter, one of the biggest promoters in town actually. So I have a few records by him, so kind of neat to pick that up. But the song on the A side is Midnight Rockers by Jimmy Cliff, in kind of a fairly commercial Bob Marley sound of the period. This is probably late 70s, early 80s on this one. And the B side is True Lover. True Lover. I actually prefer the B side a bit better on that one. Kind of more of a almost a rock steady sound on that, updated for the times. Kind of more authentically Jamaican, I guess. Sessions, yep, by Azim. This was a sealed LP I got. It is a Canadian, or not Canadian, American one actually, on that Mal's label, M.AL. I have another LP on this label. I'd heard of this guy, never picked up anything by him, so I found this one and thought I'd pick it up. It's roots reggae, basically, 1980 on this one, recorded in Oakland, California. Sly Dunbar's on drums on a few tracks. Other than that, not well-known musicians on here. It's fairly decent, not really anything earth-shaking. Azim also recorded an LP for Joe Gibbs in Jamaica. Got a couple from my buddy Kevin. Kevin, what's up if you're watching this? This is a Canadian one as well, on the Hard Rock International label, distributed by White Records, which I believe was related to Summer Sounds. It is Skipper Logan, not really an artist known to me. Got a few songs listed on Discogs. Disobedient Woman on the A side, kind of a early 80s rub-a-dub one. 1982 on this one, by the way. But the B side is the one for the Roots selectors. When Ja Come. Killer tune there. Another one from Kevin. This is one for the Gregory Isaacs collection. It is his classic song, Extra Classic, here spelt extra classy, on the Progress label, 1976, Jamaican pressing, as you can probably tell. And in kind of a neat touch, the Progress label is spelt backwards. So you put it in the mirror and it appears the correct way. Don't know if that's intentional or a mistake or some kind of metatextual statement on progress. Things going backwards, I don't know. But kind of a neat touch. Another Gregory one from a different seller. This is one I'd always passed over. I'd never heard it before, and then people kept telling me it was really a good one. Gregory Isaacs, Private Beach Party. gold stamp promo. US pressing on the RAS label. And this is 1985 on this one, produced by Augustus Gussie Clarke for his Music Works label. Sly and Robbie on bass and drums, also Lloyd Parks, Willie Stewart, just killer Gregory. Again in that kind of easy skanking sound, kind of somewhat similar to his early 80s albums with Night Nurse, more Gregory, that kind of thing. Just Gregory, peak form. He would have a massive hit with Augustus Clarke a couple of years after this called Rumors. I'm sure I showed the 12-inch of that one in my Gregory Isaacs video a while back. 12-inch, again, from one of those sellers that had nothing else reggae, but they had this one killer piece. It is a 12-inch on the Arawak label out of the UK, produced by the great Renaissance man Dennis Bovell, lovers rock pioneer, dub producer, artist on his own with his group Matumbi. This is Errol Dunkley, kind of a journeyman singer. Actually was discovered by Prince Buster, if you remember from my Prince Buster video. Prince Buster was looking for new talent and recorded him first. He was also started up Gregory Isaacs' African Museum label. The two of them were partners before they had a falling out in the early 70s. He soldiered on, had many hits through many different eras of Jamaican music. This is kind of one of his signature tunes. Second cut, a little way different. And interestingly, it's got a label from, looks like a record store. Asanan's The Music People, and it's got a P.O. box in Nairobi. So that record has done some traveling. This is one not in the best shape, but I got it basically free. The seller was asking for $5 for it, and then I didn't have any small bills, so he didn't have any change. So he said just take it, but I gave him what coins I had on me for it. I didn't want to give him nothing. It is Bob Marley, Trenchtown, 1982 on this one. Original 12-inch on 56 Hope Road label. Definitely got some light scratches on here and some fingerprints. It'll need some cleaning, but I think it'll play just well, just fine. From one of his posthumous albums there. And one final Bob one from the record fair. It is African Herbsman. Bob Marley and the Wailers, 1973. This was originally released on Trojan Records. I think this is a light blue label. It's a second pressing. The original came on the classic orange and white Trojan label. Compilation mainly of sides produced by Lee Perry, which was a short period they worked for him after leaving Studio One, after starting their own label, Wayland Soul M, going through various financial struggles, lineup changes, and trying to get ahead in the rough and tumble music business. They started recording for Lee Perry, and their work they recorded for him is widely considered to be the greatest they ever did. And Bob would return to these songs again and again over the following years when he was recording for Island Records. Lively Up Yourself is on here, earlier cut. Small Axe, Duppy Conqueror, what else? Kaya. Just classic songs. This was kind of where the Bob and the Wailers really found themselves as individuals, as artists, and just Perry kind of sat back, didn't put a lot of tricks into his mixing. He hadn't really started his Black Ark studio at that point, but just sat back and let the Wailers become who they were eventually to become. So happy to add that to collection. Okay guys, that's what I've got for you this time. Hope you enjoyed. I will definitely have more for you soon. So cheers and take care everybody.